The Deepwater Horizon oil spill, commonly known as the BP oil spill, was one of the largest environmental disasters in history. It occurred in 2010 in the Gulf of Mexico, and its impact on marine life, coastal ecosystems, and local economies was devastating. The spill was a result of a complex series of events and failures that unfolded during the drilling of the Macondo prospect. The Macondo prospect was a deep-sea oil exploration project located in the Gulf of Mexico, specifically in Mississippi Canyon Block 252. The prospect was named after a fictional town in Gabriel Garcia Marquez's novel 100 Years of Solitude. The development of the Macondo prospect can be traced back to exploration and geological surveys conducted by various oil companies in the region. Today we will explain how the spill happened and the environmental consequences of the spill. On April 20th, 2010, a blowout occurred during the final phases of drilling. A blowout happens when high-pressure oil and gas escape uncontrollably from a well. The blowout was caused by a failure in the blowout preventer, a crucial piece of safety equipment designed to shut off the well in the event of a blowout. The BOP's failure allowed oil and gas to surge up the well. Attempts to regain control by activating the BOP were unsuccessful. The well began releasing a massive amount of oil and gas into the Gulf of Mexico. The oil and gas reached the surface, forming a large slick on the water. 2 days after the blowout, on April 22nd, the Deepwater Horizon rig experienced a catastrophic explosion and subsequently sank. The sinking made it even more challenging to control the well. With the rig on the seafloor and the BOP unable to contain the flow of oil, the well continued to release oil at an alarming rate. BP and other response teams initiated various methods to stop the leak, including the deployment of remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, to activate the BOP and the drilling of relief wells. These efforts took several months. The cleanup efforts were extensive, and BP faced legal and financial repercussions. The company paid billions of dollars in fines, penalties, and compensation to individuals and businesses affected by the spill. The oil spill highlighted the risks and challenges associated with deep-sea drilling and raised questions about the oil industry's safety practices and regulatory oversight. It also prompted increased scrutiny and changes in regulations governing offshore drilling. Now let's talk about the aftermath of the spill. The spill had an immediate and devastating impact on marine life. Fish, dolphins, sea turtles, and various species of birds were directly affected by the oil. The oil coating the feathers and fur of marine animals compromised their ability to float and regulate body temperature, leading to widespread fatalities. We found that the spill likely harmed or killed about 82,000 birds of 100-plus species, about 6,200 sea turtles, as many as 25,000 marine mammals, and a vast but unknown number of fish. The base of the marine food chain was also corrupted, disrupting ecosystems and threatening the survival of many species. Coastal wetlands, estuaries, and marshes, which are crucial breeding grounds for many marine species, were heavily impacted. The oil penetrated these sensitive ecosystems, causing long-term damage to vegetation and disrupting the balance of the entire coastal food web. Mangroves and salt marshes, which provide vital habitats and act as natural buffers against storms, suffered from oil exposure, leading to their degradation and loss. Even after the well was capped, significant amounts of oil remained in the Gulf of Mexico. Subsurface oil plumes dispersed by chemical dispersants lingered beneath the surface, affecting deep-sea ecosystems and organisms. Oil residue persisted in sediments on the ocean floor and along coastlines, creating long-term contamination issues for marine life and habitats. The spill had a profound impact on commercial and recreational fisheries in the Gulf. Many fish species were contaminated with oil and chemical dispersants, leading to the closure of fishing grounds and devastating the livelihoods of those dependent on the fishing industry. The long-term effects on fish populations and the health of seafood resources raised concerns about the safety of consuming seafood from the Gulf of Mexico. The spill disrupted critical ecosystem services provided by the Gulf, including water purification, storm protection, and nurseries for various marine species. These disruptions had cascading effects on the health and resilience of the entire Gulf ecosystem. Extensive cleanup efforts were undertaken to remove oil from the water's surface. Booms, skimmers, and dispersants were deployed to contain and disperse the oil. However, the effectiveness of these measures was limited, and some methods, such as the use of dispersants, raised additional environmental concerns. In the aftermath of the spill, restoration and rehabilitation efforts were initiated to mitigate the environmental damage. These efforts included habitat restoration projects, monitoring of wildlife populations, and financial compensation to affected communities and individuals. Ongoing scientific research continues to assess the long-term effects of the spill on marine ecosystems. Studies have focused on understanding the persistence of oil residues, the recovery of affected species, and the overall ecological health of the Gulf of Mexico. The spill prompted increased scrutiny of offshore drilling practices and led to regulatory changes aimed at preventing similar incidents. Improved monitoring and safety measures have been implemented to reduce the risk of future spills in the Gulf and other offshore drilling areas. In conclusion, the environmental impact of the BP oil spill was devastating and continues to be felt years after the incident. The spill highlighted the vulnerability of marine ecosystems to large-scale oil contamination and underscored the importance of responsible and sustainable practices in offshore drilling. The ongoing efforts to restore and monitor the Gulf of Mexico serve as a reminder of the need for environmental stewardship and proactive measures to prevent and mitigate the impact of such disasters on our oceans and coastal regions. That's all for today. Thanks for watching as always, and have a great day.